What's up everyone, this is ScherBR talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll be talking about the information on the summer Globalx banner that brings Rufus, Doll, and Liza. We already have all the information thanks to a review, henceforth a treat translated, so thank you so much for doing this awesome job. And now we can discuss these characters. Well, they are not exactly what people were expecting. Starting with Rufus, he's not a damage dealer per se, he's actually a support unit with high dexterity. Well, his agility is okay, and he has higher will than endurance. He seems to be made for fights where you bring matriarch number 3 with her Peon of Peace, so that he can heal better and support better. Because yeah, this Rufus is a healer. Well, first passive, he recovers HP on the end of a turn by around 170, and his BP by 1 too. Then the second passive increases single target damage for all surviving allies by medium effect, that should be 10%, so it's gonna be used for boss fights where there's only one target. Then passive number 3 increases his damage by 20% and reduces the damage that he takes by 35. That's strange because it's usually only 30, but in his case it says extra large is 35. So he's a sustainable character that can take some damage and will heal himself with 4 BP a turn as well. Then his first attack is a 1 BP cost C damage single target blunt attack. That's pretty good because he gets 4, you are only using 1, you save 3 BP and you are doing okay damage. Now for skill number 2 is where everything changes. For 6 BP he will grant attack and defense enhancement with fast, that means that he goes first. And this increases damage by 15% and also decreases the damage you receive by 15%. We will also recover all surviving allies HP by a very small effect, that should be around 170. That's why I said that he's going to be used with Peon of Peace strategies, because that will increase the heal, and attack and defense enhancement will help you receive less damage. I guess this is not something that you'll be using all the time, but if you see that you need an extra heal to survive the next turn, that will allow you to heal before the enemy attacks and also give you a little more extra survivability with defense enhancement. So I can see the usage, but he cannot spend this forever. With 6 BP cost, he actually only gets 4. He's not like a spell girl that will be more reliable for heal, but maybe some scenarios will ask more for him? I doubt, but okay, more about this later. Skill number 3 is a single target attack with only double S damage that hits for 2 elements, blunt and slash, just like his gun and blade attack, and grants morale down to a target. That decreases the overall damage of that target by 15% and also grants defense down. That means that you will do 15% more damage as a final place on the calculation, so it's interesting when you need to increase the damage output without just giving more morale up to your party. Because it's 8 PP, you can use this every 2 turns, and it lasts for 2 turns, so you can just keep this active all the time. And only use the skill number 2, like I said, in emergency scenarios, where you want to resist and you feel like you don't have enough HP. So this character is not a full damage dealer. You will be using skill number 3 more often than skill number 2. But there's a character that also offers something similar, that is Liza, and she tries to decrease the damage that the boss inflicts while also giving you the defense enhancement so that you will resist the damage better, while he's wanting to increase, so it's a more offensive support than defensive support, and I'm not entirely sure if you have space in your party to add Rufus as a support unit. Well, we also have Doll, and she got 110% dexterity, 96 agility, and 85 intelligence. She is only a gunner now without shadow spells, but she can import from her past style, and with a combination of the agility and intelligence, she may miss power grab. It's a spell that always debuffs attack when it lands, so if she does not land the attack, she will not debuff. So depending on the scenarios, it will not work. But she does have high will. Again, when you are using Peon of Peace, you are buffing will and dexterity, so yeah, 2 status where she focuses on. Then the first passive gives her 50% chance to trigger an evasion stance that only works for 1 time, just like Matriarch Shield, and 2 BP. So on average, she will get 1 BP by a turn, and every 2 turns she evades 1 hit. on average. The second one gives her 20% increase in damage and starts the fight with 12 BP. And the last one fired up 6, so a total of 50% increase in damage and a chance to get 2 BP and evade. Now, skill number 1 is a 0 BP fast attack that deals blunt damage. This is just like Leon, it's the same attack. Then Bullet Dance, this comes from Comando Emilia, it's a 7 BP attack that hits 3 times randomly. It's triple S damage but with 3 different hits, better for when there's only one enemy on the field. And then there is skill number 3, this one is amazing because it will reach 4S potential and even more. She opens with a single target 8 power fast attack that hits for blunt and cold, so cover 2 fronts, and then grants defense down. Defense down will increase the damage that you inflict by 15%. And then she will follow up with Dark Bullet, an attack from her passive style that is blunt and shadow and buffs her dexterity and intelligence by 40%, so that she will start doing more damage from turn 2 onward. So there's only one thing, she opens with fast, makes everyone do more damage, then use Dark Bullet, and it's a 12 BP skill. You will be using Quick Draw on auto, and sometimes she will prefer to use Bullet Dance depending on the BP cycle if she got to trigger passive 1 or not. But in manual you will just be using skill number 3 all the time. You will not be using Bullet Dance unless you, well, fail to have enough BP. So she's a strong nuker and can be used for farming as well. You can place her on the back of a Magia fight formation, for example, and she's going to do a lot of damage, then help someone kill the first wave, and then on the second wave she still has Quick Draw, it's a fast attack, so you can see where she will be used. And then there is Liza, the most different character here. She has 110% STR, 112% agility, her endurance and will are on average levels, not bad. And her intelligence is on 60%, maybe just because they want you to use Submission Plus in the future, but I don't know why they spent points here. Love and Charisma are not that good. Well, she's a character that keeps charging till she becomes very strong, kinda similar to how Leon operates, but also very different. Well, passive number 1, when she is attacked, damage will be reduced by 25%. Then, after the battle begins, on the beginning of every even turn, that means turn 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, she will grant herself a buff called Warcry. This buff will give her 10% increase in damage, and it lasts for the whole fight. This is like Heat Up from JP, some characters are getting this, and it's pretty awesome if the fight is pretty long, since you will just reach max potential with a passive that already gives you damage reduction. Okay, second passive, when the attack lands, she will recover HP and BP. That means that she can get 4 BP a turn when she's attacking, or even more because it's skill number 3. And fired up 6 increases damage by 30% at all times. So when farming, she only has this one active. But then the passive number 1 will just count for turn 2 if you are moving between waves as well. At least that's what I think. Then skill number 1 is amazing. For only 1 BP you get a roll attack with blunt and cold. That does not do much damage, it's only E power, but buffs her agility by 25%. For only 1 BP. Remember Red, he got Hummingbird, a 3 BP skill that buffs agility. Deals more damage, it's C power, but she can just use this attack and save 3 BP for something else, while Red was just locked down Hummingbird forever. But this allowed him to evade, and it will also allow Liza to evade. Now for skill number 2, we have to spend 4 BP and 2 LP to give ourselves Warcry. Again, the same Warcry. That increases damage by 10%, lasts for the whole fight, and also gives her a defense that is either 10% or 20% decrease in damage taken. 10% because usually medium is 10%, but it could be 20 if it follows Scrum-Guard numbers. We don't know, we'll have to test this later. And because it uses 2 LP, you can only use this twice. It lasts for the whole fight, so if she takes damage, she can survive much better. You'll be using this on the start of boss fights for sure. But then there's only one problem, you start the fight with 10, and when she uses this, she's not getting BP by attacking, so it decreases 1 of your BP for the next turn. On turn 3, you only have 8 PP available, not enough to use her skill number 3, and it's one of the most strangest skill in the game, but also pretty powerful. Well, for 10 BP, you get an AoE attack with C power only, yeah. But it's fast and hits for blunt and cold, nice. And then she will buff everyone's agility by up to 25% on max level. So that includes herself. And after that, she will follow 2 times with a wave attack that hits for column and only cold damage. It's a skill that was used by Azami in the past, Summer Azami. So you buff yourself and do 2 hits with E power. This alone makes her hit for very high triple S or start of 4S damage in cold element. But because she lost the blunt part, it's pretty strange. You will only be using this for real damage in cold weak scenarios, or after she stacked so many of her war cries that it doesn't matter if you are hitting weaknesses or neutral, you're still doing a lot of damage. So Liza is pretty strange. I have to say, when she uses the skill number 3, she will get 3 BP back, essentially making the skill only 7 BP cost. And for 7 BP cost, we're talking something like Bullet Dance. Something that hits single target to E power 3 times. Here we are doing much more than that, so there's a lot of things to take. You're buffing the party with doing AoE damage, then you're doing column damage. It's really awesome, but has a higher cost on start and mixes up the damage between cold and blunt and then just cold. So reduces the applicability of the skill, but while keeping it at least useful for agility buffs. We don't have that many agility buffers. We do have ScherBR, that's not the best one after, you know, Matriarch, but she's still better than Shendu and Itoken at least. ScherBR can use his agility buff twice in a row, but after turn 2, they are pretty similar, with her offering more because of self-sustain and buffing her own agility when she's not buffing the party. So you buff the party, buff your agility, buff the party, buff your agility. She will be evading like crazy, because she never stopped buffing her own agility at least. So Liza is a very good unit, and because she's actually competing with Leon that deals blunt, cold, and slash, I don't know if you need Liza. But Liza is still a very good unit because of the agility buff, even if she's not a stellar damage dealer, but I'm sure she will do enough damage. And then Doll is a nuker for single target attacks and can work on boss farming and in boss fights. And there's Rufus, a character with a strange support setup that may not be good enough. Well, we'll have to discuss this later. But this is my opinion. What is yours? Please say here in the comments. With this information, are you planning to summon or not? Well, but this is my opinion. What is yours? Please say here in the comments. Do you want to summon for these characters knowing all this information now? We'll wait for the review. I'll try to post it before the banner goes live. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to support the channel, there are links on the description of the video. Hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye.